Hey everybody, this is True Disciple bringing you Game 2 of DeLoAdEr versus Biscuit. A very exciting first game. Biscuit able to take that game with some awesome pressure, with some early Zerglings, with some early Banelings, and then moving into Mutalisks, and then getting the Ultralisks at the end to just finish it off. And DeLoAdEr falling behind a game in this best of 3 matchup. And here we are in Game 2. Here we are on Shattered Temple. And so Lost Temple, which is normally known as definitely a pro-Terran matchup, especially against Zerg, as you were able to put drops on what was a high ground over here near the natural expansion. But now on Shattered Temple, of course, that has been removed. There are no islands anymore, so that also used to favor Terrans, as they would easily be able to take the island base and defend it without any fear of ground troops if they properly positioned some turrets and stuff like that. And as they wouldn't even have to worry about drops or anything like that. But now with these rocks here, able to just break those down and come right in. So that's really nice and is a lot better, so it makes it a more of an even map. And I think that most of the pro players agree that this is a much more even map for all players. And still, Terran can do some amazing things on this map, just as they could on the previous one. They just can't do what is considered to be more cheesy tactics that only worked for them and was not very beneficial for other players. Protoss could take advantage of it a little bit as well, with Blink Stalkers, Observers, warping in with pylons and stuff like that. So they could take advantage of it a little bit, but it was really hard to deal with those Thor drops that you would get on that high ground. The Thor that it could actually reach the base, and so that was very difficult. So here we see DeLoAdEr is walling off this time. So that's an interesting choice. Well, not an interesting choice. I mean, it was an interesting choice the first game that he didn't wall off. I don't know if he was trying to hide the barracks, so that probably, as we saw, that he went Reaper, and so he kind of went off to the side. He didn't want the tech lab to get scouted, I guess, by the initial drone. And or maybe he just wanted to make the Zerg player panic a bit. So here we go. Biscuit is going for his early hatchery once again. And yes, there is a Hacks depot there. And so, as I mentioned in previous games, that they're starting to put some depots here, which just a 400 supply depot, and it can all it really does is it prevents buildings from being built there until it gets destroyed. So it can kind of keep which is really nice, because what it does is against the Zerg players, Protoss would often warp in buildings right here, and cannons, and so that the Zerg would be completely walled off in their base and not even able to get out, and they would have just a little teeny choke at which to attack, where only 2 or 3 Zerglings could hit a building at a time, and it was very difficult to deal with until you got at least 2 roaches, and even maybe just get a few queens. But now with this here, you need to destroy the supply depot first with 400 health, so you can't do this kind of early rush and drop cannons right here and then wall your opponent completely in without destroying it. So that's very nice and makes the game a little bit more even in the Protoss matchup for Zerg, which, I mean, I guess it could also be used against other players, but not to great effect, as of course you have the Marines that are able to deal with that much more easily. I guess it would work a bit on Protoss as well. Here we see some Zerglings coming out to kind of push this scout away, and we see that Biscuit's natural is up and running. So let's bring up that production tab, see what's going on there. We see speed is going down again. Metabolic boost, as it is called, is going down again. We see that he's going to use that initial energy, which I think is very smart, throwing down the initial energy to get that creep tumor to start spreading that creep right away. I think that is definitely the most important choice. Whereas at his natural, he is going to throw down the inject larva to get those extra larvae. I think it's a fine choice, because you can use this high ground. He wants to connect these bases with creep as quickly as possible so he can run his troops back and forth, especially as he can probably expect that DeLoAdEr will do some kind of drop harass, as he does love to do that. And I hear a Marine shooting somewhere around here. Ah, yeah, we go. Marine shooting, telling this Overlord, no, thou shalt not pass. And we see a nice little wall off there, although a nice Baneling bust would be able to take care of those supply depots quite nicely. We see DeLoAdEr is just using this orbital. He doesn't feel comfortable with taking this expansion quite yet, so he's just using this orbital command right now to produce SCVs. And this is a very smart play. You can always use orbital command for energy, so you can use it to get extra mules, you can use it for a scan in a pinch, and you can use it for extra SCVs. Because, I mean, there's no need to not get your SCV count up if you're not able to expand. And so he's able basically to produce 2 SCVs at a time instead of 1. So that's nice. Of course, the goal for DeLoAdEr will be, of course, to push out and take his expansion. He is going to get Hellions, and the Hellions are going to be quite nice for him. They're going to help him get, so he's building 1, 2, 3, just 3, 4, getting 4 Hellions, and he's going to try and get some map control with the Hellions, which I think is quite a smart play. And here we go. DeLoAdEr is now pushing out with his orbital command, going to get this expansion. The Zergling is going to see it all, so he knows exactly what's going on, and the Zergling is going to sit there and try to block it. However, these Marines are having none of it, and they're going to take care of business right there. Very smartly, though, that Zergling trying to run up the ramp as quickly as possible to try to scout, as he does want to see what's going on. But he has not been scouted yet, and now these Hellions are moving out. So DeLoAdEr very smart dealing with, oh, but this Zergling is going to see it, and wow, that was an amazing play from our Zerg player Biscuit, moving the Zergling up, out away, and moving over to here just in time. So as far as DeLoAdEr knows, these Hellions were not scouted at all, but they were. So he's moving out, he's going to try to poke in, but he is being denied by that queen, and queens are just so powerful against Hellions. So he might have to do some kind of Hellion drop, or he's just going to have to wait till he gets more Hellions to be able to do the damage that he wants to do. In the meantime, we have Overlords moving out, trying to gain some of that map control, but we can see that these Hellions, if we look, we see what the Hellions have done. They've removed half of the vision of Biscuit, and so just for the pure map control, they've had that effect. We see an armory going down, we see siege tech is being researched, and we see a scan going down, and he's going to remove that creep. And so not only is he keeping the Zerg player from seeing what's out there with Lings, he's also going to slow down that creep progression just a little bit, and that's going to help out too, as the creep also grants vision. And so that's one of the things that's very important when you're up against a Zerg player, is they tend to have map control, and you want to kind of try to deny them that if possible. We see all these Overlords kind of pushing out all over the map, and now we see some Roaches. Roach is a very excellent counter, a very hard counter actually to these Hellions, and these Hellions, they are faster, so they are going to be able to run away, but they will definitely need to push back against that. But the tanks are also very powerful against the Roaches, as they do plus damage to armored. Ooh, those a little bit of a miss micro by DeLoAdEr on those Hellions, and losing an extra one of them where he didn't need to. We see a command center going down here. Wondering if he's going to use that as a defensive structure or not. Will it finish? It looks like it is still being built. It is still being built, so it is going to finish. Meanwhile, we see that Biscuit is pushing in, and those siege tanks are doing their damage, taking care of those Roaches, and using some SCVs as well to take care of business as well. Let's check real quick and see the workers kill. 7, 8 workers killed now for Biscuit, doing some decent damage. But let's bring up real quick and see the units tab and see what we're looking at. So we're seeing 52 drones to 41. So 11 drones behind, or 11 workers behind for DeLoAdEr now, as he did lose those 10, but he is still continuing to produce SCVs as quickly as possible, and he is on 2 bases right now, and our Zerg player is only on 2 bases as well, which is definitely a place you want to be. If you can match the number of bases to a Zerg player, and you're not playing Zerg yourself, then you're doing extremely well, because Zerg always wants to be a base up. But of course, Biscuit, not to be outdone, is going to say, you know what, fine, you're on 2 bases, I can't get rid of that base, that my push wasn't, it was pretty effective, but not as effective as I wanted it to be. I wasn't able to take out your expansion. Well, I'm going to double expand. And so this is going to get scouted by DeLoAdEr. A little high five there from those, and going to get poked as he's pushing out with this spine crawler. And so we might see some spine crawler pushes. Meanwhile, we see that Zerg missile attack is being upgraded, as is ground carapace, as is glial constitution, to make those Roaches much faster, and they'll be able to even catch the Hellions while they're on creep once they're upgraded. But we do see Thors going down, which will be able to deal nicely with these Roaches if properly used. And we see more Marines and Terran infantry weapons going up. We see some reactors going down. What are those reactors on? Those reactors are on racks, so we are going to see some heavy Marine play coming from DeLoAdEr, which I think is a very smart play at this point, as those Marines are in numbers, will be very effective, and they'll be able to deal with any flyers that might come out later, as I guess that he is kind of fearing not having any anti-air if he just goes for, because if he's just dealing with a Roach army, then you probably want to go with Marauders, but he's got to expect that he's going to be seeing some Hydras or something else quite soon. People that tend to go Roaches will tend to follow that up with Hydras at some point, as Roach Hydra is an extremely potent combo. Let's take a peek around the base and see what is going on here. We do see that the pathogen glands are being researched for that extra energy on the infestors, and we'll probably see some infestor play coming in soon after that. And nothing else of that much interest going on at the moment. We do see the creep is nicely spreading. We got this queen pooper out here, just plopping down all the creep tumors to help spread that creep. And look at the purple on this map, just an excellent level of purple. And we see that Biscuit is throwing down some creep, pooping out some creep with these overlords to delay any expansions. But we now do see that the third base is up and running and fully saturated for DeLoAdEr and at the gold, and that is huge. We're looking at a 3-base Terran versus a 4-base Zerg, but 3-base Terran with the gold expansion. Which this is just going to be excellent play, and we see DeLoAdEr is throwing down another command center trying to go for a 4th base. Of course, we do know that Biscuit is going to be able to see this if he tries to expand here. However, I think a smart play for DeLoAdEr would be to just back this base up right here and drop it right down here. It's not being guarded by Overlord. The rocks are still present, providing a very nice defense against any kind of ground army. Meanwhile, we see that Hive Tech is on the way. We see Neural Parasite is being researched as he wants to take control of some of those Thors. And I'm wondering if it looks like Biscuit might be preparing to make some kind of push here. I'm not 100% sure about that. He is getting his Carapace level 2 and Missile Attack level 2. And he did get his Hive, so he is going to be going into. Oh, and here we go, Hellion drop, a very nice Hellion drop. Going to be able to try to do some damage here, killing 3 drones, but not very effective. Already losing one of those. There's 2, so he actually paid more than the damage he did. And if we look at the units tab, we're going to see real quick that we still have 89 to 83 up, and somebody is slowing the game down. So we're going to wait for Noob Ass. I guess Noob Ass's name is very appropriate. So yeah, let's. Yeah, I can't type right now for some reason either. So I won't. Okay, well, we'll wait for this player. This is a live cast, as I mentioned before. I am live casting these games, so we do have to put up with stuff like this here. In the meantime, we do see that an extra base is going down at the high yield mineral over here. Yep, there it is. For Biscuit going down. Noobass has left the game. Thank you, Noobass, for getting out of here. That was really painful, especially in the middle of a pro match. So, and here we go, the push from DeLoAdEr moving out, and this is the point where, right here in the middle, this is where the Zerg player wants to catch him. He wants to catch him before he moves into a choke and is able to completely defend. Moving those siege tanks, just leapfrogging them up, but he wants to watch out that these 3 siege tanks back here do not get picked off. Meanwhile, we see that Biscuit is going to be moving down. It looks like he's going for a counterattack right into the natural of DeLoAdEr, which I think is an excellent play. He's going to move in here. He's going to be able to take care of these troops, no problem. And DeLoAdEr is going to have to make a choice whether he's going to pull back or not, but it looks like he is committed, so he's going to push out. No, he's going to be pulling back with most of his troops. He wants to keep his high yield expansion, which has been mining, but it is almost mined out, so it's not such a big deal if he does lose this, as we see these mineral fields are already starting to get low, all of them down to around 500 or so. But it looks like DeLoAdEr does want to protect his expansions, and he does want to protect this orbital command as well. So I think he did lose one of those orbital commands there that he was planning on expanding with. Some troops being left behind, these Marines kind of following up. And I wonder if this is on purpose. If so, very nice play by Biscuit, leaving some of his troops behind to just kind of clean up a little bit. And DeLoAdEr is going to be now pushing back out as he feels confident that with this army he can do some massive damage. And I think that at this moment in time, DeLoAdEr does have the upper hand. Where Corruptor's coming out on the field. Do we already have a Greater Spire? Let's check it. Greater Spire is being morphed. Let's check that production tab real quick. Greater Spire is being morphed, and I think the only thing that will really save Biscuit at this point in time is those Broodlords, because he is now losing one of his only mining bases. We see that this base was taken out and this base was taken out. We missed it. Sorry about that, guys, but those bases were taken out as well, and DeLoAdEr is just doing so extremely well. And now at this point, Biscuit has nothing left but his main. Luckily, he is still mining there, and there's the GG from Biscuit with nothing left to respond to this 3-base Terran. Very excellent game by DeLoAdEr, excellent game by Biscuit as well. Biscuit proving that that his win against DeLoAdEr was definitely not a fluke. He is definitely a high-level player, and he played extremely well this game. But that brings us to a very exciting game 3. I'm already pumped about it.